What if your patient's own blood could never be FDA approved? That's the dilemma with PRP and MFAT. There's nothing to patent.
We can't patent that, right? We can't say, I patent your blood and you have to buy your blood from me for the next 3 years where I can recoup my $20 million investment.
So is regulation helping or holding us back? Watch to explore.
Do you think the regulation of the regenerative medicine in the last 5 years is helping to advance the science, or do you think it's stifling innovation?
Obviously, we have FDA, and part of their goal is to keep people safe, to make sure that there's not too many cowboys out there. It's not the Wild West. We're not having issues. And obviously, we've had a history of having issues in the past, right? We've had people who've gone blind, people injecting things into weird areas, sterility issues. So we do need regulation in order to keep things safe, to make sure things are done in a proper manner. That being said,
don't forget, if you want more about the business of Orthobiologics, I have a podcast, or you can go on my website, The Business of Orthobiologics, and tune in.
FDA is not set up to manage or regulate regenerative medicine. FDA is set up to manage drugs and have things go through a drug pipeline. And for example, let's go look at hyaluronic acid. So hyaluronic acid came through, they did one of these FDA studies that usually runs somewhere around $20 to $25 million. And they did a study for an indication, which was osteoarthritis of the knee. And they found that it was equal to or superior to saline and or cortisone. Because that's, you don't have to be much better than them, you just have to be equal to them.
Perfect.
And with that, they got approval for use in knee osteoarthritis. Can we use HA in shoulder arthritis? Can we use it in CMC? Can we use it in hip? We can. Those are off-label. So you can't use it with FDA clearance because they didn't pay FDA again to get the hip approved. They didn't pay FDA again to get the shoulder approved. And why did they spend that money? Because they could patent their drug for 3 years where they're the only one that can use that drug, so they can recoup that money before it becomes generic. The problem is with PRP, with MFAT, with bone marrow, these are the patient's own cells. We can't patent that, right? We can't say, I patent your blood and you have to buy your blood from me for the next 3 years where I can recoup my $20 million investment. So Orthobiologics doesn't fit into the system. And so that's where it's going to be an issue. Now, interesting enough, we have a company out there that does MFAT, and they make kits for MFAT. And they were willing to take this bet that we're going to pay this expensive amount to do an FDA study for knee osteoarthritis in hopes that we can sell enough kits in order to recoup our investment. And so we'll be interested to see once they submit to FDA. I think that's going to go through, and they'll probably be the first regenerative medicine approved in the States for use that'll have an FDA indication. But it will only be for one indication, only be for osteoarthritis. So then if people come to me with rotator cuff tear, it's still not going to be covered by insurance. So this is the problem with our system, specifically when we're dealing with orthobiologics.
Don't miss out. Please subscribe to our newsletter now to stay ahead of the world of orthobiologics. You can find the link below.